happened.
Okay, viewers, you're looking at the floor, but that's not important right now. What is important is Camilla. Hello, Camilla. Camilla, you're voting obviously to remain.
I am.
What is the most compelling argument to leave, and how would you debunk it?
So I think the most compelling arguments to leave come around immigration. I agree with some of it. Like, I agree that we're not managing immigration and the flow of movement of people all across the world very well. I just don't believe that the answer to that is leaving the EU. I think the world is only going to become more globalised and more interconnected, so we need to be working together in groups and collaborating to be able to manage these massive challenges. Same goes for climate change, same goes for all these kind of global issues. And so I agree with the sentiment, and I agree with lots of the grievances that people say about lack of employment, lack of access to homes. Like, I feel it too, but leaving the EU is not the answer. But when people get stuck in their situation of being upset or despairing about where they are, I empathise with that, and I think that's really hard to debunk. It's still worth doing, and I'm still doing it, but I can see where that comes from. They're sort of capitalising on a sense of despair and helplessness that a lot of people are feeling and using as their argument, and I just think that's tragic. It's really sad, and it's not really the world I want to live in, and that's why I'm really pushing to stay in.
Okay, one last question, because I couldn't answer this myself, but I heard that if we leave the EU, that it will be harder for us to get basically go on holidays, like we'd have to get a visa to work and stuff. Is that true, or is that nonsense?
So we don't know yet, and that's the thing. Like, we really don't know what's going to happen because we haven't dealt with it yet. But it's likely to be harder because we're going to have to come up with new agreements that make sure that we can do those things or not. And we're going to be in a much weaker position to be able to influence the sort of things that we want because we're going to have removed ourselves from the group of people that we are collaborating with. So it's not going to be easier, but we can't say, like, it can't be a sure thing about what's going to happen. But generally speaking, people say if we leave the EU, we then join through a trade agreement, but we're not actually members of the EU. That means we still have to accept the flow of EU people, and we have less influence because we're an outsider working with the insiders rather than being inside and shaping what it's going to be. So, not recommended, but we don't know.
Okay, that's very eloquent. Thank you for your time. You rock.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.